And come on and slam.
All right.
Welcome to the jam. Where did we leave off?
Welcome to the
You left
jam.
off
I'm
leaving.
Charlie Rose.
That's right.
Oh yeah, we were in the forest after
You're
fucking
leaving the
knoll
forest.
rape.
Uh-huh.
Our friend Thatch is still intact, which is
So,
why...
you guys find a road. It's not the same one that you took before. It's doesn't seem to be a main road, and it's much smaller, but it still takes you south. And you eventually get the gee willikers out of that forest.
The heckle dude.
By now, Thatch has swiped his crossbow back from you, Nix. You obviously wanted to get out as quickly as possible. And you come to the road that you went on sort of forks into the main road, and it seems to open up more. And as you leave the forest, you notice the time seemingly shifts to day once again.
Woo!
In fact, it's about past midday, and sorry, I'm just reading that. And Thatch just sort of makes a passing remark about it being nighttime that whole time. He's like, forests are always dark. And you all sort of follow the road south, and the trees kind of begin to thin out more and more, all the while becoming less and less bare. Many are full with leaves, and some have moss hanging from the branches. The air is dry and hot, but has a breeze shifting through it now and again. Before you, as you break away from the forest entirely, and after about an hour of walking, you get to these fields of tall hay, and that are about as high as corn stalks. The road finally stops at a fork with other roads leading off east and west. And down the west road, a couple of yards, another path seems to fork off that goes more southwest from that. And there's a wooden signpost ahead where the road stops just before one such field of wheat, with similar high fields lining the path for about the past mile, lightly jouncing at the tops with the wind. You hear something stomping and rustling further off in the field. It gets nearer and nearer, and Thatch doesn't seem afraid. In fact, he looks almost excited in a way.
Oh, that's
for
new.
once. But just barely.
I'm really scared now.
Is it Crash Bandicoot?
Very close, Al, very close.
I saw Max Art, and I didn't know that Thatch was like Crash Bandicoot. I thought he was like a gnome or something.
Not trying to like Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah,
Nothing like Crash Bandicoot.
yeah,
It's
before...
exactly like Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, he doesn't.
Maybe in your head, Al. I don't know.
That's how Al's gonna
I mean-
draw him.
He at least looked like the Crash Bandicoots that were in the last Zelda game.
I think those were nulls, Al. Jesus. I think those were the exact things that Thatch are.
I'll admit,
Oh, wow.
I had forgotten what a knoll was when you first started describing him, so I did not like his image because I was picturing like, what is it, like a goblin-like sort of shitty-faced little thing. I was like, yeah, I don't like this.
He's like a hyena, man.
Well, we can all see that now. I got his image up. He's
Now let me
adorable.
describe him again. Oh, Thatch is really...
He wears a crossbow on his...
He's kind of like a little goblin
Yeah.
man. All right.
Okay, like here's what they look like. There we go. See, like it's Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, that's not what I was referring to.
Alright, so Thatch
Okay.
is not scary
Thatch to
for us.
Thatch.
You see something sort of crest out above the wheat, and it looks like a man. The first ones to see it, obviously, are Equalis and Dignan being the tallest.
Whoa! What? Oh!
The stomping gets louder and louder as more of him comes into view, and soon you're able to see that it's actually a man walking on long, segmented wooden stilts, which seem to be operated mechanically by pulleys and ropes. The man himself is holding a long pike with another mechanical device sort of attached to it just behind the blade. And he's wearing mostly rags with what looks like a almost petrified pumpkin on his head that appears to be carved with eye slits. And as he approaches the signpost ahead, you hear the sounds of the pulleys and the ropes buckle more and more with the rickety wood that pivots and creaks as he moves. He
machinery.
takes long and lumbering steps, stepping right over the signpost and continuing into the field to the right of you all, and seemingly ignores you and just keeps walking. So anyway, the sign, it's written in Mostrian, of course, and you all need to head east and then south to get to the swamplands, but only Nyx knows that, so she could decide to tell you that or not, but...
We'll share that with the group.
Alright.
Oh, there you were, Bodhi.
Oh, there she is.
She doesn't like talking to us though, so she just submits a formal note to Aqualis, who then hands it to Dignan to read out loud.
She submits a form.
Oh!
It's like it's like a Mad Lib. She just has to fill in like 2 words for each thing.
I need blank to blank.
4 answers, use this one. 4 questions. Alright. The 2 signs sharply pointing east read Monter and Acris, and the former is the name of the swamplands that you have to get to. And there are 4 signs that are pointing east that read from the top going down Mazel, Vashir, Nemik, and the last one seems to be badly scraped. It's kind of hard to immediately decipher.
That's the name of the town. Welcome to Badly Scraped.
And
Watch your step, I'm telling you.
If you can read Mostrian, then you can, kind of see what that says.
Suppose
Well.
that would be me?
Yeah, I stare at the sign for a while before turning to her and be like, could you please?
No!
Alright, so you need to roll a perception check on it.
All of us.
Actually, I think all of you do sort of have some sort of rudimentary understanding of the language, so you all could roll if you want.
Let's do it!
Let's all do it!
But Nyx is going to get a +6 bonus.
Oh,
Well, why bother?
I got a 17. So...
Alright.
Well, that's pretty good. So, yeah, I guess, if she couldn't read, I guess all of you other guys could, try.
Oh! Hey, that's gonna be...
That's without the +6, so it's definitely over 20.
Well,
so if I
forget
can't read
what I was
that
gonna
sign,
say.
That sign has nothing on it. Fun fact!
It's just a dick.
Oh, who did this? Come on, guys.
Why would someone make a sign pointing to that? They're a giant dick.
Don't go that way. Well, I don't know what mine does, but I got a 19. I don't know what it does in comparison to fancy. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Unless you're in the mood. Alright. Alright, so you got pretty good. So, you can definitely make out that it reads something similar to Nistant, which when translated means Deadlands or Land of the Dead. And so you can tell everyone that if you want or not. But that's what it says.
I'm going to say it in a creepy manner that I can't actually do. But
it frightens
comes
me.
off creepily. It's the land of the dead.
Oh!
Oh my god. It's nostalgia.
And now you all can do a history check if you know what that is.
Well, I wasted a good 17 on not seeing anything.
Nyx gets a +8 bonus.
I got a 15.
Alright.
I get a big old 4 as my
19,
finish.
And I think I get a bonus. I'm still opening my character builder.
Everybody wait in suspense for what Al's bonus is gonna be.
I think I have the highest history bonus, but I didn't roll very well.
Woo!
What'd you get, Al?
19 plus whatever my bonus is.
What is it? Can you
I don't
just
know
say
what
it to
it
me?
Wait, I'm waiting for it. We're all waiting. We're all being patient.
is. It
Load.
loading?
Loading.
Exactly. Loading.
You have to load
Leave it. Leave it. Leave it.
What kind of dork has to load a image file?
Probably you. Once you
One that is
eventually
trying
get
to
installed.
multitask. That is who. So, with all of bonuses, that's a 17 for me.
Oh wow, I thought you'd get higher. I'm disappointed.
It was a
Hey,
sucky
I
initial
can't
roll.
always get 10 plus, okay?
What a loser.
Only leech luck so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd like
By
that
so
back,
much.
thanks.
I mean,
Technically,
no,
you got
it's
like
mine.
a 4,
I
right?
stole it. I stole it fair and square.
Yeah, I got a 4. I go, what does dead mean?
You know, it's just
I don't understand the concept of death.
it's just like the episode of Regular Show when Rigby
You-
killed Benson's luck. It's just like that episode.
You look around. Who's dead? Who died? Did
Is
someone die?
it like a
Wow, what's that bonus,
commemoratory?
buddy?
We're still waiting.
Good God! How do you ever get it open?
It's just patience.
Listen, this will be shorter. I'll go and watch an entire stream of a past one of these and figure out his history eventually. Wait, like 20 minutes? It's 4. Still waiting.
It's probably 4. Let's be honest here.
We waited that long for that?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna bring it up.
Oh yeah, you have a sheet! Loading.
Let's see. Okay, there we go. All right, history. Okay.
Is it 4?
Actually, it's. You don't have any bonuses.
God!
The good news is it just loaded the character.
He got a
Alright,
19. What does he learn?
It looks like an upside down 5. Alright. You got an upside down 5 bonus.
You know nothing.
So what was your initial now?
19.
19. Alright.
What is even happening anymore?
You know nothing.
Alright, Declan, you have no idea. Mac,
You don't say.
you know it's both a region and a governing house.
Sweet.
As are all the names on the signs. So, yep. Nyx, you know it's a place that's fabled to be accursed. And it's separated from the rest of Mostrius with a giant wall. I don't know, a wall. A big wall.
A giant knoll stands in your way.
Giant no.
Ah!
Kind of like the Great Wall of China, only there's no Chinaman. Alright. And Al, surprisingly, you know it's fabled to be the home to all things undead, and that its gates and walls are guarded by an order. It's called Nastanis, which translates to the Death Vigil, or Watchers of the Dead.
Oh my god.
Maybe they're your relatives, Al. I don't know.
Oh.
He reads a lot of books.
Woo!
But you don't go that way. You need to go east. All right. So, yeah, you guys gotta go east. And so do you do that?
I guess.
I look at all our options and I go, whoa, no! Let's just start heading east.
All right. So you start down the road east, which slowly winds more south as you go. It's around midday as you start, and will probably take you guys a while to get there, but you probably should reach where you need to go before dusk, which is ideal because you don't really want to be there after dark.
Because dusk is horrifying.
Hey, you don't know till you've been there, man. Don't even.
Yeah, I sent her a bunch of things that you guys don't know about.
Hey!
Thank you for spoiling that.
Uh-huh.
Well, I
That
guess we
was
got...
a trump card.
Now I know why you know these things, because if you said it before, I'd just be like, you're full of shit, buddy.
What do you mean? If I would... No, that doesn't... Buddy, that doesn't matter if I say that out of character, because their characters still have no idea.
But they now know, and they are in charge of their character.
Yeah, but we're not gonna break character to find this information out from you. We're all
But-
better
Oh, I
than
don't
that.
know. We
Max,
probably
Max not
are.
gonna beat that. Beat the crap out of you and take your computer.
Yeah, once the
Yeah,
Skype goes off, she's gonna wrestle you.
Oh god, no! Oh god!
Alright, so you continue on through the hot, arid sun. Thatch has fastened a tattered cloak and hood on in response to it, and he's now panting like a dog.
Aw.
Luckily, there's somewhat of a breeze, and there's clouds in the sky that sometimes hide the sun every now and then. And if you were to look up, now and then you'd see small silhouettes of what looks like flocks of crows very high up that all seem to be flying southwest-ish.
Flock of crows is called a murder.
That's really interesting, Dignan. I'm fascinated that you know that. Anyway,
Yeah.
I turned to Thatch. So what was that circus act before in the field with the man on the stilts?
Thatch looks at you and he kind of looks away and starts to think, oh, yeah, field stalker, creepy, protector, hate crows. And that's all he says.
Creepy and hates crows. Well, that just doesn't go together in the South. I don't understand.
Thatch shrugs.
That's it.
He looks up and he notices the crows as he's talking to you, and he kind of shakes his head again, sort of, bad luck, very bad luck.
The
Having
crows?
crows cross your path is worse than black cats. So you guys just continue on. You're still in the croplands, though you're at the edge of them, more or less. Regardless, you're still flanked on either side by high rows of some kind of crop, whether it be corn or wheat. Some go as high up as 9 feet, while most are around just 7 feet high. After about an hour walking, someone up ahead leaps out of the rows from the right.
Ah!
It's a man. He's dressed in a dirtied white shirt and a dark vest with rolled up pants. His eyes are similar to Thatch's when he's terrified, and he seemed to be looking behind him as he stumbled out of the crops. He gathers up some of the things that he dropped and runs towards you all with terror in his face. He's sweating profusely, and he looks like he's been running for a while, as all of his clothes are all dirtied up, unless he normally looks like that. He seems to be carrying cobs of corn, still covered with their leaves. As he approaches you all, his expression alters oddly for a split second, like some kind of tic, and then returns to utter horror. He begins calling as he comes close, speaking not in Mostrian, but in common, and he has no discernible accent either. Hey, help me.
Okay.
Please. He stops before you all, arms full and panting. You have to help me. It's after me. He looks back down the road and into the crops. He doesn't seem to be armed or anything. And, yeah.
What's after you, buddy?
One of those things. I was just on my way, back from the market, with these. And he looks down at the cobs in his arms. And it came after me. Like I did something wrong.
I'm gonna stop you there, buddy. Things describes anything from here. I point to Nyx. It describes her. I point to Thatch. I don't even need to tell you about this one.
Thatch smiles toothily and waves.
What thing?
Yeah, at this point, Vane, while he's talking, kind of goes up to him, puts a hand on his shoulder, and she's like trying to look, but she's not tall enough to see over the crops or anything, so she's just kind of like futilely looking behind him, see if she can see anything.
She does the Army Scout.
I suppose I could just fly high enough to see over the corn or whatever it is, and just look.
I just like
I like that.
I just impatiently wave my hand like, oh yeah, would you mind? Like you should have done that by now.
I was a little distracted, alright? Crows and superstitions and shit. So I'm gonna do that.
And this great internet.
I was looking at Twitter.
Alright, so you fly up, and you're able to get about, like 14 feet up. And you can see that there's something, indeed, not very big, shuffling through the corn, but it's still kind of concealed by it. And it's getting very close to the road. And the guy is still panting, and he's like, oh man, it's gonna kill me. I know it's gonna kill me.
I imagine he's like grabbing at Vane's clothing. It's gonna kill me!
He would be if he didn't have his arms full.
And if Vane wasn't naked.
Uh,
Whoops, forgot to tell you that sexy detail.
Hey! Hey, Sean.
Yeah?
What is this passive insight and passive perception stuff for, anyway?
What?
You know, on our sheets. We got passive insight and passive perception. Both of mine are 12.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what those are for.
Wait, we're on the sheets.
At the top, they're next to
under
defense.
movement.
Yeah, say senses. And both of mine are incredibly high, so don't try to challenge me.
Mine are also 12.
Okay, you guys, I gotta step out
Oh,
real quick.
that's-
I gotta move a table.
16.
That's
All right.
That's for.
Okay,
Wait, where's that going?
I'm gonna go move a table. I'll be back.
Okay.
Alright.
I'm just gonna explain what it is. That's like, if I have something come up, like if something tries to attack you, and like I'm not gonna make everyone roll for it. I'm just gonna have you see it first, depending on how high your passive insight or perception is.
It's kind of like a defense.
It's kind of like a
Situational defense.
It's like an order. Like if he doesn't want to have us roll for stuff.
It's
then
an
just like a
observational.
passive use.
Yeah, it's an observational defense thing, but
Okay.
honestly, I don't really like using that as much because it kind of. I mean, sometimes I use it, but I don't really.
It's a stat you already know, so
Yeah,
I guess it's best for planning around things.
Plus, I think rolling is actually kind of more fun anyway. But
well,
sort of trying to design around that sometimes.
I only got onto that tangent because I wanted to, while talking to this guy, enhance my robot eyes to get some insight on why something would want to murder just an innocent corn man. That's what his kind are called. They're called cornmen.
No, not really.
No, listen, in canon, his kind are called cornmen, the type who go and buy it from the market to make corn-related products. Corn syrup, corn stew, corn cancer.
Someone shut this guy up.
Chicken shrimp, shrimp barbecue, shrimp.
I'm sweating and I'm.
You can't take it. No, that's really not.
It's like you're wrong, but I don't have the guts to stop you.
So when I turn around, I'm like, guys, we gotta help this corn man. You're, oh god.
It's like I look like I'm wrong, but I'm actually right. I just look like I'm like worrying too much about it.
No.
Oh.
Well, balls. I learned nothing. I get a 4 and I see that he is corn. I see that he's really into corn.
You look at it. I'm imagining you having an inner monologue. You just look down at his shoes. I gotta get me shoes on.
I try to do like a Sherlock thing, like tattered shirt. He's dirty. Holding onto his corn. That corn's really important.
I imagine it's in your voice, but like the echo on your voice is like so ridiculous.
I can't hear anything.
It's like really obtrusive. Like
he's really into that corn. I need to give me some.
Some really poorly edited like video. Like, oh yeah, inner monologues always have like echoes to them, right? Okay, let's turn it up.
As it continues bouncing off itself, just barely you can hear fading. Somebody once told me the world.
Yeah, you can't even make out what you're saying. This guy's wrong. This guy's wrong.
She was fucking Canada. And then it just zooms out, and I'm like, oh, what?
You put like underwater filter over Smash Mouth.
The camera cuts to Al dead with like a table like puncturing his throat.
His legs just out under the table.
When I asked Al to share the Pop-Tart in the Skype chat, no, not even in the Skype chat, he texted me a picture of him putting the Pop-Tart against his screen.
Of course he did.
I like this extra degree of interaction. I don't even know how he took this picture because it's not even a still image, it's like in motion. The screen is blurring like he's throwing the camera. Is there anything non-pertinent I can discuss with this guy before Al comes? Oh! Shh. 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 Wait.
A wild owl has
Shh.
appeared.
Shh. Shh.
True, I moved the table.
Surprise!
Surprise!
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday,
Van.
Al.
Happy birthday, Sean.
Oh, happy birthday, Sean.
Stop. No, stop.
Let's hear it for Sean's birthday.
Oh.
Ah!
My
Destroy
birthday
this.
is coming up, though. It was yesterday.
Al's birthday dirge.
Al's birthday
Wow,
rant.
Let me play. I can actually play.
Well,
Happy birthday on this.
you don't need to. You know what? Let's see what this guy has done.
How was that?
Hot cross buns.
I can't even play that. This thing sucks. Yeah, so you notice he's wearing clothes, and he's not armed. So, next you sort of see that's getting very close to the road, and it actually is very close, so close that it steps out. And
I gotta run to form up. It's me and Vane at the front, with Digdan in back.
out of the crops you see another field stalker, and it's similar to the one from before, only he's not on stilts.
I'm relieved. Like, oh, don't worry. He's merely a circus performer. He'll be fine.
And actually, let me just do this. It's him.
Okay. A new image to feast on.
Ah,
And he is carrying a scythe over one shoulder and dragging a hook blade by a chain on the other.
I remarked that this one doesn't look nearly as fun as the last one.
And it sort of shambles slowly up the path toward you all. The man lets out a worried gasp, looking between you and it. Please!
Shush.
The field stalker gets closer and just sort of stops. And it kind of looks at all of you, almost as though you're kind of harboring this thing that he's after. And the man screams out, "You can't reason with it! It's a monster!" And it, yeah, there you go.
can I do an insight check as to what it's after? Like if it's actually after the guy or if it's after like the corn he's carrying?
I'm really hungry.
Go ahead.
All right, I got a 17 plus 2, so
100.
19. Okay, 32.
I know everything about this guy.
So you look between the field stalker's face, which is just, a bag with holes cut in it,
All right, good.
and the man, and you see that the field stalker seems very fixated on the man's face rather than the corn. But you do notice him sort of kind of angle its head down a little bit and then angle it back up at the man. So it seems a little, I don't know, it seems sort of egged on by the man carrying the stuff that he does, but he seems more focused on the guy.
So,
What's in the basket?
I think
What's in
Wait,
the box?
he's carrying a basket too. I thought he was just carrying corn.
He's
I
just carrying
imagined him with corn in a
He has-
basket.
He has no
When the
basket.
body catch a
Who just carries
body
corn?
coming through
He's
the
harvesting
right.
things. He should have a basket in
Yeah.
which to place the corn.
Sean didn't actually
So-
mention the basket at first, so I did picture like that he was a corn thief fresh from the fields.
That's what I
Oh.
thought too at first.
Well, okay.
Listen, you South people are all thieves. I'm not racist, but
Okay, so
No,
what
no,
Vane's
that's
gonna
true.
do is she's going to go ahead and take one of the pieces of corn he's carrying and kind of like chuck it toward the thing, just like land it in front of him. See if
its
he
mouth
does
opens
anything.
up and devours it.
No, maybe actually instead she just kind of like slaps the corn out of his hand, like onto the ground. To
Well,
see if
that's
it
just-
causes a reaction.
Rude. God.
Okay,
It's his
well,
corn.
is it though? Are we sure it's his corn?
If he stole it, it's his.
Says the thief.
She got a little red hand in the item screen.
As you slap some of the corn out of this pile that he's carrying,
Could be nicer about it.
he looks surprised, and he looks at you in the corner. He's like, "What was that for? What did you do that for?"
I just like I give Vane like a slap on the arm. Hey, come on. And at hearing that I can't reason with it, I just get like this confident swagger and take. I don't step up to it, but I take 2 steps up. And I know it's a field stalker. I'm not actually thinking much will come of this,
Oh,
but
hold
in
on,
character.
hold on.
What?
Al's gone.
Ow! Oh
When-
no! I swear to God, that
When-
better not be the connection thing again.
When
When
did he
did that
leave?
happen?
I don't know. I just noticed it. Okay, so the stalker didn't didn't do anything about me slapping the corn. Corn
Well, I was getting to that, but
Oh,
Okay,
alright.
well that was what I wanted to know before I got like wrist slapped by Qualis.
well, this all happens at one time.
Okay.
Because I'm not gonna tell Declan, no, shut up, I got a thing.
Well, I like to think that Vane's actions don't always make sense. They just kind of make
Al?
sense in her head, and then they get explained later by other things.
So, what was happening was, Max said something about knocking some corn, and then like she cut out, and I thought,
She
and
just
then I was-
fucking knocked corn out of the dude's hands,
then-
just like
I
that.
know, and I was like, I was gonna make a funny thing, he's like, onto the ground, like I am, like top 10 comedian Al is, but then it turns out I got
You know, you'll get your chance later. Save that joke. Save it for later, and you tell it later. It'll surprise us all.
yes.
Oh,
Yes.
how little you know. Alright. Yeah, so, you were actually going to do something, Declan, or do you...
I'd like to see his reaction first, because that'd probably happen in real time.
Okay. Alright, so the field soccer, actually,
Grows wings and gets angry.
Oh shit!
I have an idea.
I have an IKEA.
But
I need to go
first,
to IKEA.
He just comes over and rips my arm off.
You don't even get a chance to respond. It just walks up and rips
let's
both
talk
your
about a
arms off.
Boston accent. I hate you guys all coming over here knocking corn out of guys.
You know, I'm after that guy. He knocked corn out of someone else's hand. Stole it up. Corn knockers.
Ho ho!
Oh.
Field soccer wins. Alright.
Uh-oh.
I just did a roll against the man in the field soccer, and you'll see why. Because the man reaches down, he sort of kneels and tries to fumble and get the corn back into his pile in his arms, but more just ends up falling out. And the field soccer, he suddenly lashes out his arm, tossing the hook toward one of the cobs, and the blade just sinks into it. And he's probably used to hitting targets like this because, you know, they're about the size of crows anyway. So he yanks the blade back, and as he does so, he sort of catches the hook in his hand, and he stabs the blade of his scythe into the road and leaves it there, making that hand free so it can pluck the cob from the hook. The field soccer drops the hook and peels back the leaves of the cob, revealing something glimmering wrapped around the yellow corn.
Hmm.
And the man
Vane's good at this.
turns and begins to run down the path that you all just came down, dropping the cobs in a hurry, but still trying to hold on to a few.
Can I do like a trip? Can I like try to stop him?
You sure can. You all can if you want.
All right.
Yeah, I was gonna tell the people
then
in
you're
back
gonna
Whoa.
to
fill
do
those
that.
5 bags of cobbed corn.
I got a nat 20.
Oh,
All right.
I'll forget
Okay,
anything
guy.
else.
There you go. So you had your arm on the guy anyway, and you sort of, you again. Well, what do? You tell me.
Stiff arm him. He wants to turn around and I just smack him in the chest and it kind of catches him off guard.
The guy sort of recoils and flips back and lands on the ground in the dirt, and he moans in pain. Ugh, ugh.
Yeah, he does a backflip and then it does the Cribs reverse thing where.
It's like they reversed it at the wrong point, so it's just him on the ground, and they reverse it to like 2 seconds before when he's still on the ground.
Just him breathing in fast motion.
Alright,
Alright, he's planted.
the field stalker grabs up his scythe again, and he starts shambling toward the man who's on the ground. And he approaches him and grabs him by the back of his shirt at the collar and sort of pulls him up so he's laying on his back and throws him down that way. And he ties the chain of his hook around the man's hands at the wrists, and holding him there with a foot, he yanks his scythe off his arm, and he pulls the chain so that the man's hands are sort of elevated, and the man is whimpering and closing his eyes really tight. The field stalker raises his scythe up behind him and swiftly brings it back down, unless you want to stop it.
I would like to, yes.
All right. You're going to need to roll a dexterity check.
Hell's bells. Oh. Yeah, not 20.
All right.
Nice.
So as the field stalker is about to effectively reap the man's hands off for stealing these valuables, you sort of come in and you're able to stop the blade by, putting up like an arm or something. It sort of causes some sparks to fly as it hits against the metal.
Yeah, the blade goes in between all my fingers, and I stop the other side with my hand firmly on the, what do you call it? I don't know, stick.
The field stalker very slowly looks at you from the man, and he doesn't look too happy, even though he has no expression different than before, but he seems sort of perturbed by the fact that you stopped him from his work.
I say, you can have the corn. This guy's going to be dealt with, and not in your frontier justice way.
The man is sort of nodding his head furiously. Yeah, let him deal with me.
Woman, you're allowed to speak.
Bodhi, you have a voice. You are part of the
He's
group.
talking. I'm being polite and covert at the same time.
Listen, all right. If you wanted, you choose one or the other. You be polite. You wait till he's done, or you just say, "Hey, I'm looking at corn," right while Sean's talking. Right.
Well, just kind of like you have to stop him at the point where it's like prevalent, so that it makes sense.
They're in the middle of an intense scene. I was just gonna pick up the corn and look at it in the background.
You're out of the group!
Wait till it's done, or just interrupt him. Own it! Own whatever you're doing. Own it!
Eat Sean alive.
Eat him
his
alive.
flesh.
Fucking tear the meat off his bones.
His flesh. Well.
Man, that was a pretty epic, like, few minutes. There's some good rolls in there.
Alright, Bodhi, whatever. So, the man is sort of nodding furiously at the thing that you propose, Equalis, and the field stalker just simply points a finger at the man's hands and then points down at the corn that Nyx is sort of checking out.
I'm gonna, Well, I guess Nyx can take her turn to observe it and see what happens.
Perception check?
Yeah.
You gotta roll a corn check. It's kind of a lesser stat that people don't know about.
So wait, was Equalis still gonna say something to Vane, or was that just before when she was slapping stuff out of people's hands?
Yeah, I was like, rude!
Rude.
She's got some good insight.
That is a 17 again.
All right. So you pick up one of the cobs and you sort of peel it back, just like Field Soccer did, and you see that you don't really see anything. You just see corn. It's like, let's not worry about this. But you look further down, and you see that there's a few tiny sort of jewels kind of gathered at the bottom. Some are set in like gold trimming, like rubies and sapphires, and yeah.
And you can relay that to us.
Alright.
You better do it fast and figure out what you're gonna do, because I'm probably gonna end up returning it.
There's gems and shit in the bottom of this corn.
Wow! That's really bad for your teeth!
Probably.
I look at the guy. You're an idiot!
The man kind of frowns.
I give the order to pile them all back in and kick the... Well, he's right next to us, so just give the basket full of corn to the field stalker.
He doesn't have a basket.
Actually, he has all those packs on him, so.
But the guy had a basket. I just figured we'd group them up into there.
Well, we decided he didn't have a basket.
He has no basket.
He was just
Listen, where are we at on the basket matter?
There's no basket. I never said basket.
Alright.
I would like to do a really awesome quick fingers and steal a single gem from the corn thingy just in case it is informationally relevant later.
And not just because I'm a kleptomaniac.
It's in my nature!
So you have the choice between a small sort of gold trim set ruby or a sapphire that's very similar.
What else do I have? I have some blue gems. We'll go with the red one. I'll take the ruby.
Alright. Put that baby out.
Every color.
Meanwhile, the field stalker, he seems to be stepping away from the man, but he also he sort of holds his scythe in both hands at the staff, sort of readying it, and he looks like he's ready to attack again.
I just give an arm sweep for give that corn back, because I guess I drag the man away a little bit as I take my own steps back.
All right. So the field stalker seems a little distracted. He looks back at the corn again, and he moves over to sort of gather some of it up as you move the man away from him. All of his movements are very slow and languid, and he seems very almost drugged, sort of, in everything that he does.
You riding the dragon, buddy? I'm gonna have to report you to the police.
The man is still sort of freaking out. He's like, "Don't let him kill me, man. Don't let him kill me."
You shush! Now. Now is quiet time for you.
Alright, and the field stalker starts to gather up all the corn and puts them in each of his bags and the sack that he has with him. And as he sort of steals the last one out of Nyx's hands, not really regarding her, he turns and he makes his way back into the crops and he leaves.
I just give a appreciative nod.
Yeah, he that is not returned.
No, I don't expect that.
Once he turns around, he does not look back, and he's gone.
Sad music plays as he leaves.
The man lets out a really big sigh. Whew. Oh, y'all helped me a lot out back there.
So at that, Vane kind of like crosses her arms and like puts a big old foot right on his chest and just kind of frowns.
Yeah, I like back away. Yeah, this is not my time anymore.
Well, the guy can't just get some for himself. He's now talking with a thick Austrian accent.
Oh my god.
Who did you take these from?
Oh, you know, people who didn't need them, just some, you know, okay, they were, you know, they were just people. They were in the village further off.
Is
He's
that
gonna
field
glare at him.
stalker? Is that field stalker helping that town out?
He sighs. I guess the jig is up. Yeah, he's been around there for the past month. And he's been going after any kinds of bandits and crows and all sorts of other things that have been going after the village and keeping them nice and safe like.
So you just upset the local law enforcement.
Well, you know, they aren't around all the time. I wasn't counting on to be there when I took them all.
So a man who was just about to cut your hands off with a scythe is a more moral dude than you.
Look at them, man. They're gross and creepy.
You haven't shaved in a while. I could say the same about you.
Oh.
You just get all really fastidious. Like, you haven't shaved in a while. Gross, man.
Buddy.
He mutters a sort of curse in Austrian. It's not fair.
Maybe we can.
So.
Hmm.
No, go ahead.
I didn't have much.
I was just gonna pick him up by. Are his arms still bound together, or his wrists, or
Nope.
no? Okay, well then we gotta figure out a way to tie him. Cause I'm keeping him down with my foot.
What are we gonna do with him?
I don't know. That's what I was gonna
Turn
turn
him
around
in
and
for
ask.
the good favor.
You want to
Yeah.
keep him?
Vane was gonna turn around probably to Aqualis because I know he's kind of closest to her alignment and be like, "What do we do with him?"
I turn to Nyx and I'm like, what is the form of, like, real law enforcement here? What do I do? What am I supposed to do with this guy?
Well, he was caught thieving, so cutting off his hands would have been the lawful punishment.
Man, you guys are
This
gross.
is the South. I
You're
don't
right.
know what else you want.
That's the first thing you learn.
Mean street.
Thatch sort of nods at Nix's statement very avidly. Very scholarly for himself, trying to look all esteemed and knowing what he's talking about.
He's just dropping fleas from his
Thatch,
coat.
I'm really proud that you know that, buddy. I just
His
give a
eyes are
nod.
closed, and he's sort of,
I get a little frustrated. All right, well, as the guy gets up, I just shove him back down before we start to leave. That's my gesture.
What was that for?
Don't let me catch you again.
Yeah, son of a bitch. And he gets up and sort of dusts himself off and runs off.
I like turn around. What? Do the like big Italian guy. What? What'd you say?
Nothing. He takes off down the road.
I flex. I roll a flex. Strength check.
Yeah, that's it. You can all continue down the road. Seems all the corn is gone now anyway, so, or all of the special corn at least. All the corn with
Special
weed
corn.
in it. All the weed corn.
Special brownies.
Dude, did you make special corn for this party, dude?
So you all just sort of continue down the road. You're now heading more south than east after a while. It's now early afternoon when you see something up ahead. Again, it looks like an old wagon being pulled by a single auburn mare. And driving the carriage is a hunched figure in a shredded black garment and hood. The carriage appears to be entirely empty except for a shovel and a mass of white cloth gathered at the front of the bed. The figure seems to be whistling something.
You said it was coming towards us?
Nope, it's going with you guys, but it's going pretty slow.
Is it like next to us?
No, it's up ahead.
Oh, okay. I guess,
Shall we catch up and greet them in a usual fashion, or ignore them completely?
Whatever you want.
as Nick says that to me, I go, well, I'm kind of terrified to meet any more of you, so. But we're like walking faster, so awkwardly we eventually meet up with it down the road. I avert my gaze.
But regardless, the figure sort of turns their head to you, and it's an old woman, and by the amount of wrinkles, a very old woman.
It is a dead
she's
woman.
She's dead. She sort of calls out in a sort of inquisitive tone. Oh, hey there, traveler. Or travelers.
Hey. My head slowly creaks around as I say, hey.
The old woman gives you a warm smile, which actually seems to hide a lot of her wrinkles instead of making them worse. She speaks in a gravelly tone, but she seems amiable enough. Y'all don't look like you're from around here. Well, except two of you. You mercenaries?
No, not mercenaries. We're
Yes, we're mercenaries.
yeah. Okay.
I'm kind of a mercenary.
I look around at
We're
my
looking-
mercenary and thief and hired, or I just mean tag along little former bandit and Dignan.
And Dignan, he's not even a thing. He's just a
Hey.
love thing in the back.
She sort of hums briefly in answer, then says, I could always tell who was who. There's silence a while before she shifts in her seat. She moves in the far left and sort of turns to motion toward all of you with a free hand, the other holding the reins. Well, don't just keep shuffling on the road like a bunch of scraggly hooligans. Hop in.
The horse just kind of looks at us. No,
I'm like,
please no.
The horse seems to be fine and is looks almost out of place, actually.
I glance at her. I glance at Dignan. I glance at myself and reflect on everything that's happened. You know what? I actually run on a renewable power source, so everyone else can get on. I'm good out here.
All right. The carriage bed does seem big enough to hold Dignan and two others, while the front seat probably could only hold you, Equalis, with her on the side. But since you don't get on, Thatch just sort of scrambles up and runs into the front seat.
Ah!
I love the idea of him scrambling. I just get this like curious motion of him like scraping up side of the carriage, just like
Yells,
frantically.
Shotgun.
He looks very excited. He's looking around like a dog in the side of
Oh.
the front of a car.
We're taking a cornfield fucking ride here. Just driving through the neighborhood and Thatch remembers his childhood.
So I guess Vane hoists her sword up and then hoists herself up in the back.
I'm
Alright.
gonna go ahead and fly. That's alright with everyone.
That's all right.
Maybe she puts her hand out for Dignan to hop on up.
And is quickly yanked out of the bed of the car.
Oh jeez, I fucking broke the cart with my weight.
If you were to get on Dignan, the car would sort of creak and shift on its suspension.
Just shit
But it
all
doesn't
over.
break.
He's self-conscious about one time when he did break a cart. He was
I
just a
don't
grown boy.
know.
The old woman looks over to you, Claus, the only one who hasn't really. I mean, she hasn't really looked back at Nyx or anything, so she kind of looks at you. So where are y'all headed?
I look back to Nyx. Where are we all headed?
Greywater.
Greywater.
Yep.
Oh, Greywater.
Yeah, Greywater.
That's where I'm headed. Well, I'm headed to the town right before that, but you know what? I can take you there.
No.
Wouldn't be too much trouble.
Oh, in your hyper-fast cart?
She looks over at her horse and she says, Ziva's a western horse, and she don't slow down for nothing once she gets going.
Ooh, Western horse. I like that.
I put my hands together. Is right now, quote, going.
She sort of squints and looks at you, sort of, not angrily, but she sort of takes offense to it. She's like, oh yeah? Well, why don't you hop on and see just how fast I can take her?
Do I get?
What?
Go ahead.
I
No,
awkwardly the whole thing buckles over as I jump on, and it shuffles back into place as I take my seat, squishing Thatch next to her.
Thatch sort of scrambles up on top of you and sits partly on your head and your shoulder, kind of looking around like a dog as usual, fascinated by the view.
Corn.
So once you're up there, she gives you another warm smile and looks ahead. But then she looks up at the sun. She says, "Consarn and dagnabbit, how the hell did I mix up which side of the sky the sun was on? It's going down, not up. We gotta hurry." Woman sits up from her Thatch-esque posture and gets determined. Gets a determined look in her sunken eyes. And she calls back to all of you, "All y'all better hold on." And she lets out a "Hey-ya!" and flicks the reins once, then again and again. And her horse it starts to get into a quicker trot, and then starts going faster and faster before it's, fires into a gallop, and then a full-blown sprint. The wooden cart is creaking and jouncing as the old woman maneuvers it around ruts and rocks that are lining the road that might send some of you flying or send the carriage itself toppling over. She seems to be enjoying herself. She's cackling maniacally as you go. Thatch has his tongue hanging out like a dog on the freeway.
My hands are on Thatch's midsection, desperately holding on to him as I rock around and scream.
His claws are like tightly clutching into your plating. The old lady yells over the clamor of the galloping and the wheels, "By the way, name's Lena. Loony Lena." She laughs again as you all go.
My screaming gets louder.
You're making absurd time down the road. You're just jouncing and turning and wood's creaking and everything's going nuts. You sort of maneuver around some people who are walking down the road who seem freaked out and nearly jump into the crops. And after about an hour of this nonstop,
wow,
you leave the croplands behind in exchange for a marshy forest of high trees and that have twisted roots and moss hanging from them. And the humidity is the first thing that hits you. Even at this pace, you feel the air sort of thicken and alter. The road widens again and is lined on either side at intervals by lanterns, similar to the ones that you saw before when you were first coming into the south. But they're taller and larger than the ones that you saw before. Ziva, the horse, seems to be slowing down from a ridiculous racehorse speed and is going something more conventionally fast, but is still going pretty fast. Lena appears to have calmed down as well, but still looks more lively than you did when you first saw her. And she says, "Should be coming up on my stop soon, but I'll keep going. Greywater, was it? I forgot."
It was gray water. I'm shuddering.
She nods and mumbles something under her breath in Mostrian about having lost a bet in Pixie Town.
Pixie Town!
Just from the back.
Who am I?
Pixie Town!
She turns and says, "Yeah, it's where all the pixies congregate." And she sort of gives Nyx sort of a look and looks back ahead.
I'm having a lot of fun imagining Pixie Town, and acting like Chinatown, and like maybe they got like the lanterns hanging across the street or whatever, and then it's like pixies or some shit in the lanterns, pixie dust.
Actually, you're pretty close.
Pixie Town!
So as you go, she's silent a while, and she speaks up again. "You know what? We're in the clear. I might be late if I take you further the clear water, but hey, The dead don't rot that fast. Oh,
Jeez.
the ferry makes its last trip at twilight. We better hurry again. She makes another hey-ah, and Ziva takes off once more into a harder gallop, but seems unable to sustain it.
To stay in the pavement.
Sustain it like before.
Oh my.
She seems to get tired very quickly. You veer off to the right at a fork in the road, kicking up some mud, which hits a group of travelers resting there. They all groan and moan in disgust, sort of doing that thing where they look down at themselves. One of them yells out after you, "Watch where you're going, you maniac!" Lena turns in her seat back and retorts with a string of elaborate and colorful obscenities that you can't really understand because they're both in Mostrian and Common before she turns back around, and Thatch seems utterly terrified of her now.
I think Vane just starts laughing at that.
That's the one thing you've ever shown emotion toward, and you're uncontrollably just cackling.
So you guys keep going down this muddy road, past these marshes and this marsh kind of forest, I guess. And up ahead, you see some lights sort of shining out of the already sort of. It's already pretty dark. It's darker than it would be if you were out in the fields in the marsh because of there's so much shade, and any sort of light is very obvious in here. So she sort of squints her old eyes. Oh, it's gonna be close. Ah, there it is up ahead. Y'all gotta hurry. Looks like the last steamboat's already started.
Oh!
And you do indeed see the town ahead, sparsely lit in yellow and orange and blue light. The sky is sort of a deep blue with a tint of red as the sun is almost entirely gone. And not that it would really matter as much in swamplands because, everything's really dark around here. Lena steers Ziva into a hard left as you approach the wooden curb that's sort of out in front of the gate to the city. And you skid across the mud for a while, drifting before the side of the wheel knocks against the curb and tips the cart over. And you all go flying. So make an acrobatics check, everyone.
Oh boy!
Oh boy, good. I finally get to use some acrobatics.
Alright.
Oof, that was not a very good roll.
Heckin' dang.
I got a 10.
Oh! I got a 16 overall. That's with a -2 modifier.
15 overall.
18 overall.
What'd you get, Alan?
15 overall.
All right.
That was incredible.
That's incredible.
Is Thatch okay?
That's dead.
Thatch!
John's been foreshadowing it for a while, but it finally happened. Thatch is dead.
It's like in the previous encounter, as the Banshee extends from Thatch's ribcage, you think he might die in some time in a cartwheel accident. But that doesn't happen.
Actually, Thatch's roll is tied with Declan's in this case.
So he's still on top of me. Basically, he stays on my neck as I do a flip.
Basically, Declan, you crush him. He's dead. He's not coming back.
Thatch!
Actually, Nyx and Declan. Nyx, you just sort of, as you're flying through the air, you just kind of shrug it off like, okay, well, this was a running start, basically, and you just, levitate. You can just fly.
You halfway go through. Ah! Oh.
You just sort of stop yourself with your wings. Declan, you do an Olympian twirl with Thatch still clinging on like a maniac and flip.
A small horn.
You even stick the landing. Al, you're barely able to keep your feet, so you just barely are able to not fall back into the mud.
I just barely gore Thatch right through his my horn.
Somebody's jealous.
This is like when you're playing a game on hard mode.
I'll take 5 points of damage.
Okay, fine. I gore Dr. Cortex.
Bop, 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 bop,
Fix
bop,
that, I
bop,
guess.
bop, 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 bop.
And as for you, Mac, you
Die.
you don't stick the landing. In fact, you
Alright,
don't
good.
land very well at all. You take 1 point of damage,
Oh.
and you need help getting up, as you are a mess of rock
Organs.
person.
I'll help her.
Okay.
Does my sword fall with me, or is it kind of like off?
It punctures
somewhere?
your lungs.
No, it kind of
Or
falls off.
thatch?
But it doesn't fall too far.
Okay.
Lena grimaces. Whoa, sorry, y'all. Some of the nearby carriage drivers at the curb that seem to be congregating begin laughing at all of you.
Oh.
Before Alina calls out, "Shut your yaps, or y'all will be the next delivery." They all move. And you sort of notice her, and they seem to know who she is, so they kind of just shut up.
Yeah, our grandma's mean. Oh, you better shut up.
It's true. All right.
Bane is just like face down in the mud.
As you need
That Thatch is fine, but he looks dead. I mean, he's fine, but he doesn't look like.
Physically, he's fine, but we have to remember on his mental trauma that has scarred him for life.
All right.
Everyone else sticks the landing. They just look over. It's just face down. Oh.
Yeah,
Aw.
everyone was laughing at Vane. So
I'm not embarrassed. I'm just holding Thatch above my head like a Olympic prize winner.
Thatch is clutching, sort of covering your eyes with one of his arms.
Yeah. Still proud.
Alright, so you guys, the boat's leaving. You guys better get up.
I thought Dignan was gonna cover Vane.
I don't know.
Big man Dignan,
Yeah.
help her up.
I.
All right.
Just gotta make a strength roll.
Right. Okay, that's nice.
Sean, is that an actual instruction?
Don't
Uh.
have to.
Al, if you do a strength check, you're out of the group. Is how mad I'll be.
You can do a strength check, but you might just be hurting yourself.
You're gonna screw us.
I got an 18 plus 1.
Well, okay.
Alright, well, you get her up pretty quick.
I'm still covered in mud. I'm really kind of pissed.
I knew her Jordans. Alright.
Let's go! I shout.
Like wiping it off my face, like I can't see. Just angrily.
You're scared that
So-
this is your blood, because it's mud. Whoa, why am I bleeding?
It's
Oh.
kind of dark.
Oh, it's normal blood.
So, Nyx, you know this town by heart, and you sort of use this as a training ground for your early days. And you know pretty much every street and every alley through it. So, and you also know the fastest way to the docks, which you need to get to. So you're probably gonna lead them if you like.
I don't know. I think it'd be fun to see how Aqualis tries to get there. But we do kind of have to get to the ferry, so if he starts failing, I'll take the lead.
Okay, I'm gonna roll for the right direction. Wait, I'm gonna use a d6 or a d4.
Actually,
It's gonna be like
you are going to have to roll.
Oh, okay.
You're
All
gonna
right.
You're gonna have to use intellect.
Oh, okay. Intellect. Oh, that's a basic. My intellect. Oh. Oh, that's right. To get all this defense, I had to go with a dumb character. 16.
All right. So everyone follows after
The leader.
Aqualis. Thatch is still just sort of latched onto you.
That never leaves my neck.
You wear him like a scarf, but he's not dead. He's not dead.
It's not dead, Al.
All right. You sort of know the way to go, but you do stop eventually at an alleyway that seems to be some storehouses all put together. But the port seems to be very close to where you are. So you guys kind of stop at a dead end.
I shrug at Nyx. Give a big shrug.
Okay, fine. We'll go to the dock now. It was
Listen,
fun though. It entertained me.
Listen, I know you know the way. You're lucky I'm not giving you a slap on the wrist. We need to go.
It's my nature. I guess I'll take us to the dock then, before the last ferry leaves.
Why do you hate progress?
Right.
It's my chaotic nature!
You want to see your childhood crush. You're hoping you'll run into him. Bradley.
He's dead.
Ah!
But thanks. Thanks for
All
the
right.
memories.
Thanks for opening
So
up
you,
those fresh
you all
ones.
follow Nyx through this maze of wood and metal, past all kinds of stalls and storehouses and shops and restaurants. And there's lanterns of blues and mixed with just normal lanterns, kind of strewn across some of the buildings. In a very, yeah, I guess kind of Chinatown-esque. Yeah, you're right, Al. And let's see. Yeah, you head towards the docks. You're able to clearly see the 3 billows of smoke coming from the steamboat's 3 large smokestacks. You hear a loud horn that echoes across the swamps, signaling the ship's imminent departure. And, all right, you finally and frantically reach the ticket checkpoint, which is a large line of white booths set before the dock platform for steamships. And there's about 50 of them in all, but most of them appear closed. You do see that one is still open and lit, so you make your way over there. The guards patrolling the dock sort of eye you all warily because you all look to be in a hurry, and they're sort of, you know, they're just very careful.
They say to themselves, chumps.
I'm covered in mud.
The white booth is lit by a lantern and houses a very disinterested bullywug behind its twisted bars.
Ah.
A bullywug is like a frogman, pretty much just a human-sized anthropomorphic frog guy.
Ah.
The bullywug is holding his head in a hand, and he seems to be eyeing these fireflies that are gathering above his booth hungrily.
I can't believe my eyes.
He doesn't turn his eyes down to look at any of you as you approach, and simply croaks out a very slow and unhurried "Yes. Can I help?"
What's up?
And I'm slapping the table. Yeah, ready ticket.
The bullywug still doesn't look down at you. He's fixated on the firefly still. He licks his frog lips with his tongue before he speaks again. How many
5.
tickets?
5? I say 5 before tickets.
That'll be... The bullywug drifts off into a daydream, staring up at the flies still. The steamboat lets out a second horn, which is shorter than the last one.
I shouted, 5 tickets!
Oh. I'm sorry. How...
5 tickets! I'm like auto-tuned a little bit, that's how my voice sounds. 5 tickets!
I want you to make a charisma check, Declan.
Absolutely. Oh god, I've had good rolls all day. This is gonna be the one time. Oh, yes, 19.
All right. You did it. Okay. So yeah, you get his attention somehow. Maybe swat the flies away that are flying above or something.
I like in a swift mechanical motion reach up, nab a few, and uncurl my hand in front of him. Here.
The bullywug looks down, his eyes wide. He's no longer holding his head, and he retracts his tongue out and grabs them and pulls them back in and swallows. Oh, yes, sir. Right away, sir. 5 tickets.
All right.
That's 50 Austrias. And Austrias is southern currency, which none of you have. So you're going to have to
We
improvise
just kind
this.
of look at each other like, shit.
I was like ecstatic that I finally got him moving, so I'm just frozen in place with that half smile on.
I'm going to make an intimidation check using my past rep as part of the Thieves Guild and supposedly part of an Assassin's Guild.
All right.
I might be a killer, so watch out, bub.
You just admit to nothing. That's how that goes.
Plus sank. Which is 5.
Plus you sank.
Oh, 21 overall!
All right. Yeah, so what do you do?
I'm gonna slap him and glare at him.
Oh my god.
He's going to kind of look at you, and he's going to squint his eyes, his weirdly shaped frog eyes, and he's going to kind of drag his tongue across his lips again that are now quivering. Oh, I mean, what do you know? We got a 5 people free deal today. Just go.
I'm gonna smile very creepily at him and say thank you and fly away.
I give him a finger gun. I tell him to enjoy the flies, and I bring Thatch with me as I run.
That's still clinging onto you. He still looks terrified and petrified from before. He's like a stone.
Here's my hat.
He hands you a clause. He hands you all 5 tickets at one time, and he closes up the stall, and
Have a good day.
yeah, y'all can go. So y'all dash, I assume.
Yep.
Yeah.
Past the stoppers to the docks. You reach the ticket taker. Just as he begins making his way back across the platform to the ship, he turns around and he returns to his spot very quickly, taking each of the tickets from you, Aqualis, and punching all of them with a smile. Y'all just barely made it. Hurry up, climb aboard.
You don't say.
So you all, in your own way, step onto the steamboat from the platform, and you get onto its outer deck.
Dig in,
just as
pauses
the
to like
horn-
look at the local eatery before I slap him. Come on.
The final horn sounds 3 times, 3 short blows, and the large paddle wheel of the ship begins to spin slowly as the ship drifts away from the dock and eventually pulls itself into the swampy river, heading north at a steady pace. Now I'll give you the lowdown on the ship. The ship has 4 layers. There's the underdeck, which is the hull of the ship, and that's where most of the engine work takes place. There's the first deck, which is the one that you were all on, and that one has the theater and the bar.
Ooh.
Then there's the second deck, which has all the rooms and an observatory enclave towards the bow. And then there's the third deck, which is the smallest, and it's where the ship is steered from, and that's where all of the sort of navigational crew is in. And immediately in front of you, there's double doors with a chalkboard sign next to them that announces a show that's about to start. And it stars a comedian from the East who is apparently named Stan Stanley. His whole act advertisement reads, "Come see Stan Stanley in his parlor of laughs." And in parentheses it says, "Children prohibited from attending this performance." And beside the writing, which is written in elegant common rather than Maastrian, are some flowing designs that are probably made by the most artistic of the crew.
Dave.
So yeah.
It looks like Mega Man.
So we're just
We
kinda doing our
we
own
should get
thing.
Dave in here. What's his character?
I made a Rock Man. First name Rock, last name Man. He's able to shoot energy bolts out of his gun arm because he's part Warforged. I'm sorry, David.
All right. So yeah.
I asked Thatch excitedly if he wants to go see a show.
Thatch nods a million times over.
That's
Some
the Pacific
slobber
Rim
sort of
Theater
leaving.
3D.
Is it Despicable Me too?
It isn't 3D because it's live. Yeah, so some slobber leaves Thatch's mouth as he nods a million times.
I don't ask anyone else, I just tell them, yeah, we're gonna go watch the show, and I duck in through the double doors.
Actually, Vane doesn't hear you. She's too busy trying to clean the mud off of her vibrant red tapestry that's around her. Like, she's really perturbed that it's dirty. She doesn't care about anything else. It's just the sash and the skirt, whatever. It's the fabric, the red fabric.
Alright, so you all are going to head to the theater.
By all